This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and we should not have millions of people reaching retirement age with nothing in the bank, worrying about how they're going to make it through their last years on earth. And that has got to change, and that is why I've introduced the Pensions for All Act this morning.
That was Bernie Sanders talking in Congress about his brand new bill introduced into Congress. So with this bill, it is going to give benefits to everybody regarding retirement. I'm going to go over those details. The previous bill that he has reintroduced, which would give a $2,400 boost to everybody on Social Security. Now, this new bill is going to give pensions for all. Basically, it is going to ensure workers can retire with a pension, even if your employer does not give a pension. Really interesting bill here. Could take care of a lot of people. I'm going to play that full video clip of Bernie Sanders, let you know the details of the Pensions for All Act, and give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the content, if you appreciate the Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So with this bill, working Americans do not have to have access to retirement accounts through their employer and would have comprehensive retirement coverage under this new bill, which was just introduced. I'm going to play this video clip and it'll give you more of the details on the other side. So pay attention to Bernie Sanders here.
With that, I recognize Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, panelists, for being with us. I don't have any good Uber stories. But what I do know is that in America today, we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had in the history of the United States. We have a situation where the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. CEOs of large corporations now earn 350 times more than their average workers. According to the Rand Corporation, not a socialist operation, over the past 50 years, $79 trillion in wealth has been redistributed from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. Today, quite unbelievably, the average American worker makes less in real inflation accounted for dollars than he or she did 52 years ago. So that's where we are right now. There are a lot of reasons for that we're not going to get into today. But one of the more important reasons why the working class in America is worse off than they were 50 years ago, despite huge increases in worker productivity, is the fact that corporate America has been waging a war against the trade union movement for decades. According to the latest Gallup poll, 70% of the American people support labor unions, and yet only 6% of private sector workers belong to one. All over the country, people want to join unions, and yet in the private sector, mere 6% are in unions. Unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, I'm afraid that the bills that we are considering today would only make a bad and unfair situation even worse. These proposals would make it easier for large corporations to misclassify workers as independent contractors in order to avoid paying them decent wages and decent benefits. These bills are not about giving workers the freedom to work. These bills are about giving corporations the freedom to deny workers the right to form a union. They're about giving corporations the freedom to pay workers poverty wages and denying workers the overtime pay that they are owed. In other words, they would give corporations like Amazon, Uber, and Lyft the freedom to exploit their workforce. The reality is that the safe harbor provisions included in this legislation would give large corporations a blank check to break our nation's labor laws. A few years ago, I met with truck drivers in California who were misclassified as independent contractors. Never forget that. Big lineup of trucks in near the harbor. One truck driver told me he worked 100 hours a week, and not only did he not get paid for that work week, he ended up owing the company a check. What was his crime? The trucking company forced him to lease the truck he was driving for an outrageously high fee and then fired him for speaking out against that injustice. And that's happening all over the country. At yesterday's hearing, we heard concerns from Senator Hawley about how Amazon drivers are misclassified as independent contractors and denied the right to form a union, even though they wear Amazon vests, drive Amazon vehicles, deliver Amazon packages, and have their work schedule controlled by Amazon. He was right. Instead of denying workers the right to form a union, we should make it easier for workers to organize and bargain for better wages and benefits. Virtually every major union in this country supports the PRO Act, the right for workers to join a union without being illegally attacked by their employer. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record letters opposing these bills from the AFL-CIO, the SEIU, the National Nurses Union United, the National Employment Law Project, and others.
Without objection.
Instead of denying workers the right to decent wages, we should be raising the minimum wage to at least $17 an hour. Instead of denying health care to workers with pre-existing conditions, we should do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to all people as a human right. And if we're serious about addressing the retirement crisis, which is what we're talking about today to some degree, the way to do that is to bring back defined benefit pension plans. Now, I know that a lot of young people in the audience may not even know what a defined benefit pension plans. Guess what? Your grandparents, when they went to work, if they worked for a large company, when they retired, they had a pension plan. They knew exactly how much they were getting for the rest of their lives. According to the Congressional Research Service, in 1975, 44% of private sector workers in America had a defined benefit pension plan that guaranteed a monthly income in retirement. Today, that figure has dropped to just 9%. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and we should not have millions of people reaching retirement age with nothing in the bank, worrying about how they're going to make it through their last years on earth. And that has got to change, and that is why I've introduced the Pensions for All Act this morning. This legislation would provide comprehensive retirement coverage to the more than 56 million working-class Americans who currently have no pension plan through their employer. If we can guarantee a defined benefit pension plan for members of Congress, not a bad plan, guys, we can and must provide that same level of retirement security to every worker in America. That is precisely what this legislation would do, and I am proud that it has the strong support of the UAW, the Alliance for Retired Americans, and the Association of Flight Attendants. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What are your thoughts on Bernie Sanders? I can see his values definitely align with what he's putting out there. He wants to give an extra $200 more per month or $2,400 more per year to everybody in Social Security, so he puts out a bill. He wants everyone to retire with dignity, so if regardless of Social Security, they could get a pension, and it's a pension for all. So I really like the ideas that Bernie Sanders puts out there. You can tell that he really cares. There's a lot of other politicians who say they want to do things, but they're not really putting forth any bills. Now, the other part of this is whether or not it gets voted in. But let me go over the details before we get into that. So Bernie Sanders introduces Pensions for All Act. Basically, saying this: we can no longer tolerate a rigged retirement system that allows the CEOs of large corporations to receive massive golden parachutes for themselves while denying workers a pension after a lifetime of work. So basically, about 20% of Americans age 50 and older have no retirement savings, according to the American Association of Retired Persons. According to the Social Security Administration, 12% of men and 15% of women rely on their Social Security benefits for at least 90% of their income. So basically, with this bill, it would provide a lot more, saying that the legislation is intended to build his Social Security Expansion Act and would apply Social Security payroll tax on incomes above $250,000 to fully fund the program, and then also give benefits of $2,400 more per year. Also, the Pensions for All Act would guarantee retirement benefits to tens of millions of Americans who currently don't have access through their workplace. So yeah, this would be a really good idea. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with this? This would be in addition to whatever Social Security payments you're getting. So kind of like the idea, because just to rely on Social Security alone, as you may know, is really hard. So having some type of extra income on top of that would be really good as well. So let me know your thoughts on that. And that is all the news that I have for today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Belle's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Hi guys, this is Bill. This is today. I want to tell you something what you should really do. You should always be kind, and if you want to do something very happy, then do it. Like today, I'm going to be making popsicle, and I'm going to be doing it with you. So, what the first step is, get some milk. You can do cow milk or oat milk. There you go. Yeah, and you just have to take these out. And then we pour in the milk. Goop, goop, goop. Goop, goop, goop.
If you haven't heard yet about the Trump bump, giving Social Security recipients a boost in their Social Security checks, you're going to want to click this video over here. I'll give you all the details over there. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.